Okay, hey Steve, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Håkon?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm down here in my little studio up in Mo i Rana, having a blast as always.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm here at my house or apartment in Oslo. Uh, it's warm summer day.
Beautiful. So we're 1,000 kilometers apart,
Yeah,
but thanks God to for technology, right?
yeah, very useful.
Yeah,
And the two of us are recently back from Greenland, so been on the ice where it's been really cold.
yeah, and yeah, we had a beautiful expedition kiting almost 1,500 kilometers along Greenland, which was simply amazing. And the reason why we're sitting here right now is that we were talking about how cool wouldn't it be to give a bit more insight into what happens behind the scenes, behind an expedition. What do you have to think about? What do you have? How do you plan it? And basically every aspect of it. So we were talking about, and now we're doing it, which is a huge part of doing expeditions, posting some short videos about 10 minutes of how do we plan expeditions, why do we do them, and how do we train, how do we think, how do we get sponsors, how do we navigate around COVID, and yeah, a lot of major questions about expeditioning.
So true. And one of the key things around expeditions are all the preparations, because if you don't prepare well, you're going to be in big trouble, because we go to remote locations where if you don't have your gear, if you don't have your food, if you don't have everything you need and everything well planned, you're going to be in major trouble. So it's so vital, and you can't really forget any tiny detail, because that's going to basically fuck up something for you. So
Yeah, and it's a big part of going on an expedition is the risk assessment, right? You have to think about risk, and if things go bad on an expedition, the outcome is
yeah, not good.
mostly horrendous, right? So everything lies in the preparations, and it's like in the spirit of Roald Amundsen. He said when he first reached the South Pole, he just hoped he wouldn't be that lucky because people actually thought it was easy for him, and but it was all due to his excellent work before he went on the expedition. All the preparations just made it so cool.
So true.
Yeah.
And that's our experience as well. And we're going to share some of that with you guys.
Yeah, and not at least why do we do expeditions? Why do we do all this? Because it is a part of a bigger vision, a bigger idea of how can we contribute to something in this world, and it's just not egoistic point of us want to do something. It's a much bigger picture, and we would just love to share that.
Mm. So, yeah, we both have two different missions, I'd say. And during last year, when things went south for everybody, we joined forces. We got together and we agreed that, by joining forces, we can use each other's strength. And because we're so different, basically, we have very different backgrounds and come from two different worlds, I'd
Mm.
say. It's also quite interesting to work together, because my strengths are different from your strengths, and we both benefit from that, which is amazing now that we're getting into it.
Yeah, and it's the whole part of a team.
Yeah.
Is helping each other up, being better together. Wow, that was a good one. That's a good quote. Being better together.
Yeah.
Okay, but could you tell us maybe a short like history? Who are you, and where do you come from, Steve? Super
I'm
short.
from
Yeah.
I'm from Norway, and I have a business background. Been working in corporate for many years. Loved it, loved my career, and had some good years there. And then 8 years ago, I managed to work myself sick, and realized, there's more in the world than just running in the hamster wheel. And I've done already a lot of expeditions, and just follow my passion. So today I'm doing my high mountaineering and talks for corporate using my business background and doing many different things in addition to this. But I've climbed the 7 summits, which is the highest peak on each continent. And both of us have a plan to do Explorers Grand Slam, which is climbing 7 summits and then go to the North and South Pole. However, as I was finalizing my 7 summits, somebody whispered in my ear, "Have you heard about the 7 volcanoes?" And I hadn't, but now I know that that is equal to 7 summits, only it's climbing the highest volcano on each continent. And this idea grew in my head, and I started to investigate. And I found that, as far as I know, that nobody have completed the Explorers Grand Slam and 7 volcanoes. So my mission is for this to be a woman, because it's always been a man who's been the first here on the moon and the South Pole and the North Pole and all that. And I would so much love it for all the strong, amazing women out there that for once it can be a woman. So I want to do that for all of us, basically.
Yeah, so you're going to be the first person in history to do the 7 summits, both poles, and the 7 volcanoes, right?
Yeah.
That is just simply awesome. And that is like, and it's so cool. That is why we started working together, is that because you think absolutely as big as humanly possible, and actually a bit more, because nobody's done what you're trying to do. And if I go super briefly into who am I, I'm the complete opposite. You come from the corporate background. I come from jazz. I'm a musician. I play saxophone. I've been studying saxophone for many years in Norway and in Denmark, and playing around the world as a jazz musician on stages, in pubs, and playing festivals, and being the more free spirit than the corporate tradition. So that is my background. And however, I stumbled across too many temptations into the world of being a jazz musician, so that I kind of had to turn around my lifestyle. And that made me do more sports. I started to do extreme endurance contests and extreme endurance triathlons and stuff like that, which then kind of pushed me into trying a bit more extreme sportish things. So I started to climb mountains, playing concert at the summit of mountains and outside in spectacular nature. And that basically evolved to the complete idea of climbing the 7 summits with the saxophone in my backpack. So I climbed the 7 summits. I've done 5 of them. I've been on 6. I lack 50 altitude meters on Elbrus in Russia, so I have to go back to do that, and Carson's Pyramid in Papua New Guinea. And then, so I climb these mountains, I play a saxophone at the summit, and I compose music on the way up, and I arrange it for a symphony orchestra here in my beautiful studio. That's Everest right there. So that is my project, which is a bit more cultural and visionary in the aspect of trying to push art into the next level. So that is my main goal. And I think that is a fairly big idea. You have a big idea. We're going to the same places. So why just not join forces and do it together? First of all, it's going to be more fun. You're going to have somebody to talk to. Second of all, it's going to be much more easy for security, being safe on the ice. Third, sponsors, the economics go down when we join together. And yeah, so that is us. I think it's pretty cool, Seb. I just have to say that. I think it's pretty cool.
I totally agree. And we created this Dare to Dream Big project, or even we made a company together.
Yeah.
I think the name Dare to Dream Big says it all, because we do dare to do that. And we did so in a time where most people sat at home and wondered what to do, and all the changes going on around, and we just took it to another level, I'd say. with setting these goals of doing these three big expeditions together.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about this, and we're doing it. That it's important for us now more than ever to show that it's important to have dreams, to think big, to dream big, and to do big, and not at least in these COVID times where the world is in lockdown, people are sitting on their asses, we're eating more junk, we're training less, and like just to be a good example, it feeds us positive energy to do that. And I think the outcome is also fairly cool when we show people that, you know what, of course we can complain about COVID, but we have to do what we say we want to do, and we do want to dream big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been challenging. I think we have to be honest around that, because we were supposed to go to the North Pole now in April. And
Yeah.
then suddenly you get the message, don't pay the money. That's like, something is up, because normally people want your money, right? And then they said, well, we need to look at how we can do the logistics with all the difficulties with entering Norway as we would fly out of Svalbard.
Yeah.
And then, long story short, North Pole was cancelled this year and postponed until next year. But we need polar experience to be able to do our Antarctica project. So we sat down and we looked at, okay, how can we do this? We could go to Greenland, and we made a plan. However, Greenland was closed, so we didn't know if we could go. We planned, and we were sitting there, and it was like 4 weeks. It was 3 weeks. It was 2 weeks until leaving date, and we still didn't know because the country hadn't opened. But we just kept going, and in the end we were booked on the first flight when the country opened. We had like a crazy 2 week period only to get everything ready and go. And yeah, we had our permit to actually do the expedition the night at 9 p.m. before we left for the ice the following lunchtime. So it was like so tight, and this would never happen in a normal situation. You would have things ready months ahead. So
Yeah,
it's
and it
been
was, yeah,
interesting.
so horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah,
And this year we were only two expeditions that actually managed to get to the start, like to the starting point. So that just proves that now it's more difficult than ever to actually navigate in logistics around doing expeditions.
absolutely. And other people either cancel because they didn't want to live with the insecurity, or they canceled because they didn't want to go during these times. So, but if you want to do something, it's always possible.
Yeah. So why do you think it's important to dream big?
I think it's something that we are born with, because if you talk to a 4 or a 5-year-old and you ask them, what do you want for birthday or for Christmas, they, you know, I've I've want a swimming pool, and I was thinking like you, Håkon, I want one for you as well. A child would wish this, but as we grow up, we stop ourselves from dreaming and wanting things, because we start putting limitations on that it's not possible or not at this time, and we have all these things in our head limiting ourselves to do things. And I've seen with some of my expeditions and experiences that I've been able to do things I on forehand would have said it's not possible. And that makes me being able, or realizing that we can do so much more. And I want to share that with people, because people are sitting there with their dreams and they have something they wanted to do for years, but they never even start. So if we can inspire that, that would be so amazing.
Yeah, and I think we're not encouraging people to go to the North or South Pole or even climbing Everest. It's just that being able to kind of locate that one dream. What do you want to do? Do you want to climb Kilimanjaro? Do you want to bike across Norway? Do you want to travel to Spain? The goal doesn't matter, but the goal as a symbol is so important to have, because it's going to set a direction. What do you have to do? What do you have to think about? Why do you have to save money over a period of time? Why do you blah, blah, blah have to do certain choices? And the importance of that is going to make you be more focused. It's going to express more joy when you actually reach the goal. And in the process, you're going to have that, that fire in your eye, that is pure passion. It's going to make you invincible. And that idea, we all do as 5-year-olds. We never give up. We never stop dreaming. But that kind of, it gets dampened the more you grow. So I think it's just sad that people don't dream as much as we love to do as kids.
Yeah.
We're probably on the opposite side. Maybe we dream a bit much, but we do actually make our goals. And that's a huge difference. And not just saying I'm going to do blah, 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 but actually doing that. And it's a mindset more than anything else, I think.
Totally agree, because it's all up here,
Yeah.
And working with your mindset is something that you have to do, or at least if you want to do the things,
Yeah.
reach your goals, because it's not like suddenly going to knock on your door and it's ready and here you go. You have to work on it, and a lot of the things that are challenging, it's all in your head, basically.
Yeah, you set your own barriers, and that's the sad part.
Mm.
People have never set barriers for other people. We can see that now in COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that allowed to travel, but we managed to kite 1,500 kilometers across Greenland. So we managed to do it. I think other people that wanted to do that, they set the barrier for themselves. And I think that's a big shame. And it's a big difference in how does our mindset work compared to people that maybe do not reach their own goals.
Definitely. And it's popular talked about growth mindset, and we're for sure in there that
Yeah.
we are looking for opportunities on how to solve different problems and being responsible for our actions and our results.
Mhm.
And once you start doing that and looking at how can we do this instead of looking at all the trouble,
Yeah.
that's a huge difference.
Mm. So I think we're going to end this first one, and I think we're going to touch very cool subjects in the coming episodes. We're going to talk about sponsorships, physical training, mental preparation, logistics, and yeah, you name it. And even cooler is that if somebody do have some ideas of what we can talk about, what is actually interesting about this, people are hopefully curious about how do we do this. So please just send us a mail and or contact us on Instagram or whatever. We're seriously reachable. So just do that, and we'll talk about questions that people have. And I think this is going to be a cool series of behind the scenes of doing expeditions.
Absolutely. And we're also going to touch around some things that could be quite interesting for corporate, is around team and communication. Because that is so massive for success.
Yeah.
So,
so
looking
what's
forward.
the mail again, Steve?
What?
The mail that people can send to?
That is team@dreambig.red.
Yep.
So
shoot us a mail, and yeah, see you next time. We're going to post videos hopefully as rapidly as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See you guys, and they're big.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to you soon, Steve.
Bye.
Ciao.